Q2 is rapidly approaching, and if your shop is not optimized, then you're leaving money on the table. During the month of April, May, and June, there are so many opportunities on the Etsy platform. But if you're not prepared or your shop is not optimized, then your competition will take the shoppers who could have been yours. Spring cleaning isn't just for your home, it's also for your shop. And in Q2, there are so many different up and coming trends and holidays and new buyer behavior. But right now would be the time to optimize, refresh, and set yourself up for a strong Q2. Today, I'll be walking you through 5 important tips to ensure that your shop is ready. And make sure you watch the entire video because I do have a bonus tip for you that a lot of shop owners tend to overlook, but it can really, really increase your conversion rate. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Dania, and I relaunched my digital shop in July of 2024, and I quickly became a top 1.5% seller on Etsy, and I want to share with you everything I've learned and what I continue to learn so you can change your life too. Without any further ado, let's get into it. What I do when I begin my entire spring cleaning process, I will begin by refreshing the listings in my shop that are old and that haven't really done much of anything. I am going to take you guys into my actual shop, but I did blur the information because that is my moneymaker and I don't want any copycats out there. But I will walk you through how to do it. We will hop over to my dashboard and I'm going to hover right over here to the listings icon. Okay. And I am going to make my way down to the end of page 1 and I am going to go to the final page of my listings. Okay, we are on the final page of all of the listings in my shop, and I am going to just look for right here. I have an item that in the past month, and it's an older item because we're on the last page. So those are the older listings. It hasn't had any visits, any favorites in the past month, but I did sell it 3 times. I might think about doing something to refresh that particular item. Then we have here 2 orders in the past month, 3. These are okay. I'll keep these in my shop for now, but everything here has had a sale. Okay, this one may either need to get refreshed or get the boot. I have to think about it. I'll look at it after the video, but it hasn't had any order. It has no favoriting and only 1 visit in 30 days. And it's been up for 3 months now, 3 or 4 months now at this point, and it's gotten no attention. So I may deactivate that one. And I'll just continue to go down the final page and look at this one here. I have no visit, no favorite, no orders. I'll probably refresh that one or take it down. And I will just go through and make a decision on what I think I want to do. This one only has 1 visit, 1 favorite, no order, no love. So you want to do it that way to really make a determination of how you want to update the listings or if you want to take them down. Another one here, we have 1 visit, no favorite, no order. Another one, no visit, no favorite, no order. And I just want to show this to you guys to be completely transparent. You will have things like that in your shop. My shop does incredibly well, but I do have flops like that in my shop too. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everything is not going to be a bestseller. That is completely okay. But I just want to show you my actual shop to give you a bit of context from somebody who gets a lot of orders every day. There are going to be those items in your shop that just are terrible and do nothing. For the items that I decided to keep, but they haven't really gotten a lot of love in a while, I will update the mockup and I probably will update the title and or the tags. Now keep in mind that when you update your title or your tags, you are starting that listing over in the algorithm. So be very careful, be very mindful about what you decide to change on whatever listing. Now, if you're wondering at what point do you refresh a listing or when do you deactivate it, it really comes down to what you're comfortable with. A good rule of thumb, but it is not black and white. But a good rule of thumb would be if you have an older shop, give it maybe 1 or 2 cycles, which will be a 4 month period. So if it's gone 1 cycle, which will be 4 months, and there's nothing happening, and you have a lot of other listings and your shop has been around for a bit, you can probably lean toward deactivating it if you feel like you need to. But if you have a newer shop, I would give it 3 to 4 cycles before deactivating it in my shop. And I say that because I have had quite a few items do nothing for about 3 or 4 months. Nothing happened. But then out of the blue, they began getting orders and getting attention. And I also have a theory that when your shop is newer, Etsy is still trying to figure out your shop. They're still trying to learn as much as it can about your shop. And if you're taking things down too early without giving them a chance to go through 2, 3, 4 cycles, you really might be shooting yourself in the foot. And I wouldn't want that to happen for you. But again, it really does come down to what you feel comfortable with. Nobody can give you a black and white answer for that. And earlier I mentioned that if I do decide to update the title and or tags on a listing, that you are starting over with the algorithm, but I don't just update it randomly. I do use Everbee, my favorite research tool, to do this and to do it strategically. And I'll show you exactly how I do it. I just typed in digital wall art in the search bar and I'm looking at what has come up for me. And I see that we have a lot of really good indicators that these are doing well. Number one, they ranked on page one for me, and they have the popular now and bestseller badges. Now, what I'm going to look at would be using the little Everbee icon right here to just quickly pull up the information without having to go all the way into the listing. And I'm going to come right into the tag section and look to see if they have any high ranking tags that have a good keyword score right here. First one, we have homebody club print, 130 searches a month, only 1,500 competition, and a keyword score of 80. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. And I would just continue to go down page one and do a little bit of digging really quickly to see if there's anything that I can add to the listing that I want to refresh. And I'm doing this from the popular now listings, the bestsellers. They have it figured out. So I want to see what they're doing. Here we have entrepreneur print, 5 monthly searches. I'm not interested in that. I'm going to continue proceeding right here. Okay, another homebody wall art, 173 monthly searches, 3,100 competition, keyword score of 60. Okay, and then we have vintage girly print, 31 monthly searches, 500 competition, keyword score of 60. I might add that to my listing. And the thing to keep in mind too is you want to add keywords that are relevant to your listing. So be mindful of that, but that would be the process that I would take of going to find new and more relevant keywords to refreshen up that listing. Now that I've identified which listings in my shop were underperformers and that I may need to revisit, I also want to look at the items that have been performing well because now I need to begin thinking a bit more strategically in anticipation for the holidays that occur during Q2. For example, if I look at one of my top sellers and it has done well, I need to make more of that, which is doubling down. But on top of that, I need to think of ways of how I can adapt it to the upcoming holiday during that quarter. We have Mother's Day, so I can take a design that has done well in my shop and I can try to think of a way to make that applicable for Mother's Day or for Easter and so forth. We are going to hop back into my shop. And now I'm on page one of my listings. I did not go to the last page of my listings. I am now on page one. And if you want to get these numbers and that data to show up on your shop, then you want to come right over here and toggle that on, and you'll be able to view this information. So now I'm going to look at these listings, and this one has had 13 orders. This one's had 49, 43, 3 orders, 93 orders, 20. Okay. And I'm only going to just do page one for the video, but I'm looking at this one here had 77 orders, 73 for that one, 28. Okay. I think you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing. This one in particular here has had 199 orders. So now the 199 order listing and the 77 have both gotten my attention. Those have both done very well. This one over here had 61. So those are my heavy hitters. Those would be the ones that I'm going to do a deeper dive on and try to come up with a way that I can adapt it to the current holiday. Or can I make that into a different color palette, into a different layout? What can I do differently, but that will be in the same vein of the one that did well? So those are things that I want to look at. You don't only want to look at the items that have done poorly in your shop. You want to look at what is doing well and make more of that. And I wanted to pop in here really quickly and let you know that I did create a free download for you, a listing optimization checklist. I created it to be done in a way that you'll make sure that each item you add to your shop that you are implementing that's its best practices, which will help you rank, get found, and get orders. If you want your free copy, leave the word checklist below for me and I'll make sure I get that over to you. Moving into number 3. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that there are quite a few opportunities during Q2 where we can make great profit, namely the holidays and the occasions that happen during this time of year. We have Easter, we have Mother's Day, we have graduations, we have photo shoots, we have weddings, we have baby showers. I mean, it goes on and on. Now, what I would think would be to sit down and try to figure out what I can target that would align with my shop. So earlier I showed a wall art example. I'm going to hop over to my BFF at GPT and I'm going to ask GPT what design elements can I use for spring? And then we'll see what we get. Nature inspired elements like flowers, and then it'll give you even the type of flowers. We have tulips and daffodils, butterflies, wildflowers, bunnies, rainbows. So you see how quickly we got that information. And now we can really figure out what we want to do, how we can implement a few of these one, two, three, however many you see fit, but we can tailor how we can tailor a design that would be related to this time of year and how we can really capitalize on that and offer great items to our customers. Okay, now moving on, you want to make sure that your shop policies, your banner, your announcement, and your FAQs are all up to date. If you happen to be doing print on demand, double check with your print partner to ensure that the shipping times are still aligned with what you have in your shipping profile. You don't want a customer to think that they're going to get an item on one day, but your print provider updated their shipping times, and now you have an upset customer. And there's a lot of gift giving around this time of year. So just make sure that your shipping times are in line with what your print partner has. If you're doing digital downloads, are your instructions clear in the download? Are your links still working? Is everything good to go? Do you anticipate there being any confusion from the customer? Really make sure that all that good stuff is up and running and all set up for you. Go back and look at your shop banner and your shop announcement. Do either of them need to be refreshed? I've done a few shop audits, and the shop owner will have an announcement in their shop, but it was related to a holiday from 3 months ago. And that can turn off some shoppers. They may not feel that you're present, that you're around, that you even know what's going on if you have a holiday announcement from 3 or 4 months ago, and we're going into a new holiday season. So make sure that all that is good to go and up to date. Same thing with your banner. I've seen quite a few holiday related shop banners, which is completely fine. Just make sure that you go in and you get it updated to be current. You also want to make sure that your shop policies are completely up to date, because as your shop continues to grow, you're going to be getting more and more and more orders, which, like they say, more money, more problems. You may run into a bit more customer service related issues. So you want to make sure that your shop policies are clear and good to go. I'll quickly show you how to do that. We are in the back end of my shop again, and I got here by clicking the settings gear icon, and it got me to this page. Now, it will tell you the last time you updated your policies. Mine are about 3 months old. I may want to think about updating it. Did anything change in my shop? Am I doing anything differently that my customers would need to know about since December 13th? If not, all good, but it doesn't hurt to just do that check and do that refresh. I have here my return and exchange policy, and I don't accept any returns or exchanges. If I want to change it, I would click edit. If I want to delete it, I would click delete. If I want to create a new policy, I can do that too. Also, come into the cancellation tab. I don't take any cancellations. I don't do custom digital orders. I do digital orders. And so when they purchase, they get their download in like 5 seconds. I don't have that. I have a privacy policy here, and then we have the policies. This will just depend on what you're selling, if you're doing physical or print on demand or digital items. But definitely, you want to make sure that you have your returns and your cancellations good to go. That way, if you run into an issue, you can always refer your customer back to the shop policy. And for number 5, you want to really think about engaging or re-engaging your marketing. You can post your items to social media, whether it be TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. For me, I have a free business account with Pinterest, and each time I add an item to my shop, I just pin it to my Pinterest account and I move on. I'm not a huge fan of sharing my items to my social media, but do what feels comfortable for you. If you want to, go ahead and do it. But I know I may get a question in the comments about what I do. I do Pinterest and free business account, really can't lose anything with it. Now, the more important part of marketing, in my opinion, and I feel very strongly about this, you need to have an email list. I do feel that is a non negotiable. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we've all heard the horror stories of people having their shop shut down and they have nothing. They have no way to reach their customers because when people buy from you and your shop on Etsy, they didn't buy from you, they bought from Etsy. Those are their customers, not yours. And if for whatever reason your shop gets shut down, you have no more customers. Now, however, if you have built an email list over time, people will opt in to join your email list. And if anything were to happen to your shop, you still have a way to reach your customers and nobody can take that from you. There are a lot of different email providers out there that you can check into, but if you do use my link for Everbee, they do have an option to have a free email list. So you'll not only have the research part of Everbee, but you'll also be able to get the email list going. And I believe they have the first 250 people who sign up for your list. That's completely free. So definitely think about that. But there are other email providers out there. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up about that. And I want to show you what that will look like. So I am on the back end of my Everbee page, and we can see right here we have Everbee research. But if I click the little grid over here, it'll take me to the Everbee email. Okay, and we are on the email page. I had to blur out the information, of course. I don't want to put my customer's email out there, but this would be how the back end would look. And then you would create your campaign from there. There's a lot you can do. You can create an automatic campaign. You can do a single campaign. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And you have some options over here as well. But I find it to be a very powerful tool. And no matter whatever happens to my shop, even if I decide to not sell on Etsy anymore, I still have my book of business. Now, if you're still here with me, then I want to give you a shout out because that lets me know that you're ready to take your shop to the next level. And I want you to be very proud of yourself. I think that is really, really amazing. Earlier, I mentioned to you that I had a bonus tip for you, and that would be to make sure that your shop is optimized for mobile shoppers. People shop on their phone more than they do on the computer. And so you want to make sure that your thumbnail images are clear, they show your item properly, and it is attention grabbing. You also want to make sure that the beginning part of your title really describes what your item is. And that way, when people are scrolling, they can have a quick look and say, oh, I might be interested in that. I like the picture, and I can tell from the title, the first couple of characters in the title of what it is. Let me click, and then that'll help encourage them to hopefully buy from you, and then you get that order. What I'll do time to time is I will look at my shop from the app on my phone to kind of make sure that my images are good and that they show my item off properly and that they are visually appealing to an online shopper who is on their phone. And don't forget that if you want that free download, to leave the word checklist below and I'll make sure I get that over to you. I do have an extra tip I want to throw in too, would be to do a quarterly refresh on your shop. For me in particular, I like to do a refresh like the one we talked about a month-ish before the beginning of the new quarter. So for example, I'm currently filming this video at the beginning of March and Q2 begins on April 1st. So I'm giving myself enough time to my time with it and make sure that the shop is refreshed properly, but that it is done about 2, 3, 4 weeks before the new quarter begins. And then you'll eventually get into a rhythm and you'll be able to get it done pretty quickly. Now that you've got the tools to get your shop ready for Q2, the video on your screen now is a video covering 5 unsaturated digital niches that will take your shop to another level. So go ahead and give it a watch and I'll catch you over there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.